Could have
Oh
been
my goodness.
could
Oh,
have
yeah.
been NFL on Sunday.
Here we go. We are live, you guys. What is my name? Hi, you
Jennifer
guys.
Bagley.
I'm Jennifer Bagley. Welcome to the Boardroom with Just Start AI. I'm very excited about today's podcast. I am also operating on very little sleep. Dave, I think I had a podcast with you earlier in the week, and I was multiple like Diet Mountain Dews and cups of coffee in, and I think I've had 3 hours of sleep since then. So if I fumble my words, I brought my translator, Stephanie Allen from Airworks, my co-founder with Just Start AI.
We'll keep you on track. The thing for the world that's really awesome when you get to this point, it means you've been producing all sorts of incredible tools and things for us. And so it's okay.
I'm going to need some grace today, baby.
You got some grace.
So you guys, we're really happy you're taking time out of your business with us today. As you know, if you've attended this before, this is the boardroom, the war room. This is where we get in conversations, the same kind of conversations that Steph and Dave and Seth and I wind up in a hotel lobby having cocktails till 1 a.m. and, you know, trying to figure out how to solve world problems. That's the conversation we have here.
Dave, are you out in the world somewhere?
Where are you at, Dave? Are you at a coffee shop right now? Where's the background noise?
Mm-hmm. Is coming from me? No, I'm at my office, the regular one. Yeah.
Seth, you having a party in the next door room?
I definitely don't have a party going.
Dave, that was silent. You, buddy. That was you. You can't be the smartest person on the call and the biggest techie and not have noise canceling microphone.
I have.
Okay.
Actually, but
all right. Well, I think we saw. It seems better.
Yeah, there you go.
So you guys, today we're talking about the sales supply chain from the beginning to the end, right? From generating the lead out of the gate and how that has changed, to conversions and how that has changed, to getting proposals out the door most effectively and efficiently we possibly can, and closing that business and put money in the bank.
And the only way we're going to be able to do this is by having the right tech stack, the right partners at the table. I often throw problems at the wall, and Jen will say, whoa, back it up. Let's think strategically. Let's understand where this is coming from and where in the supply chain has to be fixed before we get to this point. So that's a lot of, I think, where this conversation is going to end up going is we'll throw stuff out there and Jen can back us up to the right spot in the supply chain that we're bleeding from.
Otherwise, Steph goes like this and is trying to plug all the holes, running out of arms.
Yeah. So let's fill the leads.
Let's start.
Yeah,
go for it, Seth.
If I can make a comment, I like this idea of thinking about sales as a supply chain because it's really the same thing. There's a flow, of goods and money in this transaction. It's got to flow through all of these different steps, And one of the things that I was talking about with contractors is, this idea of process friction kills.
Yeah.
Oh no, we lost you.
Your audio went away. Listen, this is what happens when you join the high tech group. You have all these really smart people on here. They can't figure out their audio.
Yeah. All of a sudden you find out that you have to send telegrams.
Am I back?
You're good. You're back.
Okay. I'm just going to abandon my headphones. They were being silly. Yeah. But the idea of, process friction kills sales, right? So if you want to increase your close rate, like if you're a contractor listening to this, there's one really fast and easy, just simple step you can make right now, which is take your entire sale and then process map every single thing that has to happen, not just for your customer, but for your comfort advisor, your selling tech, whoever it is, every single step. And then just start eliminating those steps. How can I combine those? How can I make that easier? How can I use tech to automate some piece of that and to eliminate that friction? Because people will do more of whatever's easier and less of whatever's harder. And so, like when you think about your sales cycle as a supply chain, I think it helps to inform a lot of people because people listen to, the psychology of sales. You listen to like Zig Ziglar and Tony Robbins and, Brian Tracy, and they're listening to all these different sales books, right? And it makes you feel like this is all about like somehow you can just psychologically manipulate this person. And that can feel a little intimidating if you're a person who's like, I'm not good at psychologically manipulating people. Like I just go in and say what it is. It's like, that's great. You can go in and say what it is. All you have to do is just make sure the process, the hoops that you make people jump through in order to do business with you are easy and minimal. And now your close rate will go up. Like that's a great, just like approaching it like that, I think is a great framework.
I'm gonna add in there. So my background is supply chain management. I was a black belt in Six Sigma, pre-marketing agency. I don't have to age myself. Everyone knows I'm a grandma now. So, but that process is actually brilliant. This is referred to as compression. So that's a great way to put this is in 2026, compression of steps is going to be wildly critical. Also referred to as when you implement compression in your entire supply chain, what you get is efficiency. What you get is higher margins. What you get is more money in the bank. What you get is more freedom. Like all the things that come with understanding how to compress. And you nailed it, which if you do not map out the sequence first, and I mean the sequence, do you remember like when you were young, have you ever been through the exercise where you have to blindfold yourself and someone tells you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Have you ever seen that happen?
I've done a variation of this. Yes.
Okay. So what you notice when you do that is like it, Dave, you gotta mute. Sorry. Mute for just a second.
Okay.
Yep, that's you.
You know what I think is happening, Dave? Are you also watching this live somewhere else? Because it sounds like it's Jen talking like a second later.
Oh, does it?
So it might be that you have
it's like an echo
open at the same time.
That might be it. So
I will disconnect and reconnect in a moment. Just a second.
Okay, we'll see you right back. So
I'd like to go
process
through this
mapping.
exercise.
Yeah, process mapping. So don't oversimplify it, right? And that's what typically happens is this peanut butter and jelly exercise is you try and map out your business process. But the reality is if you wrote down what you think your business process is right now and then handed it to your team with that version and told them to go execute it, you probably have massive gaps. You just drop the ball anywhere and everywhere. That's not process mapping. Process mapping means that I'm going to be able to hand somebody a piece of paper and say, do not interpret, do not guess, do not alter, do not do anything. Follow this sequence. And if you got it, you mapped out what your current process is. If not, that's not process mapping and you cannot compress.
So it's funny you bring this up. So back in my former life, I also worked in supply chain and I got a green belt. So I didn't go as far as you did.
I think that's what actually made us get along when we first met. I'm pretty sure we talked about this like 12 years ago.
Yeah. So the beautiful part about that is that with AI, any one of the large language models, go in and just they will help you to come up with a construct, go process map everything. Hey, I want to process map my business, the sales process of my business, from this stage to that stage, right? From lead to close. And it'll give you a construct. And what you recognize when you go through a construct like that is the level of rigor and discipline that has to go into this. Because to your point, everyone wants to like shortcut the process. Like, okay, so lead goes to a guy goes to a house, guy closes the sale, install crew goes out. It's like, well, there's literally 40 processes, 40 little points that happen in each one of those things along the way that you're trying to say is one thing. But in saying it's one thing, you're acting like you've already compressed the process and you have not. That's why you're
How can you make a CRM do this not a CRM, I'm sorry, an LLM do this for you?
Well,
what type of information, what kind of prompt do we need?
So you got to pick the right LLM. This is not ChatGPT.
Okay.
First off, no ChatGPT for this at all. You guys, and this is important for everybody who's listening, like every LLM, we just went straight, just start AI. This is a good thing though. Every LLM functions differently and is good at different things. The reality is I'll give you how I would do it. Dave's going to give you another version. And then I'm going to tell you that if I was sitting with my devs all night last night, they would tell me my version is child play. Because there's actually a better way than what you currently have access to. Right. So first off, for out of the gate, using something like Claude, I would start there because Claude has the ability to process and orchestrate and architect better than something that's more conversational like ChatGPT. That would be first. You could run through iterations, and I'm going to give you what's going to be comfortable to do, not what's uncomfortable that would do it better. This is going to be
available in Galaxy also, yes?
Don't use Galaxy. Yes, don't use that. Go straight to Claude. This would be a Claude Pro query. Okay. You would get it, refine it to where you feel like it is golden. You would export it. And then you would go to notebook.llm. You would create a new notebook.llm mind map.
Notebook LLM is now also part of Gemini. So if you have a Google Workspace, it's already there.
Yeah, and that doesn't cost you anything. That one's free. And you would let it produce this roadmap, and then you would execute it. Find all the gaps, go back to Claude and do it again. Go back and mind map it again, build the workflow, execute it, and you would start filling in everything that you missed until you have a working. Go ahead. I'd love some other.
Yeah, let me say this though. I think that a lot of us get onto these LLMs and we're like, oh, we ran out of credits. We don't know what to do, or how much are we going to pay for this, or what's it going to happen? But yet we'll go out and we'll spend $15,000 on a consultant. Right. And we're worried about
your life is $40 on 99% AI credits. Everyone that is operating well is going to have budgets that are designed to execute using credits. That's the new currency, is credits.
I was just about to comment that, like, the advice that Jen just gave is effectively, I've worked in corporations where you bring in consultants, a team of consultants, and it's a $300,000 engagement for a few weeks to do the exact thing that Jen just explained how to do for basically free or for a very minimal ChatGPT credits. I mean, it's like in the old world 10 years ago, you literally hire a team of consultants to come do that exact thing. And
that would be Gartner.
Exactly.
And it would take them 6 months, 7 consultants, and $250,000.
Yeah. The quote
is the reason you're playing with Claude now, Jen?
Yes.
Is the reason you're playing with Claude now, Jen, because it integrates with remote MCPs?
No. So MCP is a
collection of functions that are easily queryable by large language models.
Functions, resources, and tools. So think of MCP as an orchestrator or connector, regardless of LLM. So Claude, I use Claude Code, and I use Claude Code in terminal, meaning in Ubuntu, which is
Didn't I tell you to? Isn't it amazing?
I listen. I listen. Everything you tell me to do at these, we see each other for 1 hour, and he throws some crazy stuff out there that has my head spinning, and I go do it, and I do it immediately, and then I get good at it.
Yeah.
I am currently an LLM via terminal user. I have learned how now to make my Claude go build me 3 agents that build 3 more agents that tell them what to do, and go hire a Gemini agent, and that Gemini agent can go grab me a GPT agent, all from terminal now. That's how powerful I have.
I like to know all the answers. And that's my problem, is I want to understand black and white, right? And so I'm in ChatGPT asking it to create me architecture and general contractors in Manus and then move. But I haven't heard you talk about Claude much. And now we're in Claude.
We just talked about mapping, though, and architecture and mapping is a Claude function.
Guys, imagine these models as some sort of like employees with different skills.
Who do you go to in your office? Yes.
Yeah. So like Claude mostly, especially with Opus 4.5. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Sonnet 4.5, but especially with Opus 4.5, we have seen at OnePath that there was this quantum leap in terms of one-shotting the problems. So for the audience who are not familiar with the term, it is basically solving the problem at first sight without needing extra loops of feedback, right? So to answer the earlier question, like how can we automate the squeeze in terms of like the supply chain, like 40 different steps that Seth was referring to, you should have an orchestrator. You should have a conductor to the orchestra, and then you should typically have agents who are in charge of different steps, and you should have a conductor, which in Jen's case, yes, it can perfectly be Claude, that orchestrates and makes decisions based on the output of the sub-agents, as we like to call them. Okay. And it is entirely possible. Go ahead.
On a side note, our MCP tool, our domain is ciconductor.com or ciconductor.ai. So the fact that you just said that, I'm just sitting here in awe of that.
So
we literally thought of our brand right out of the gate.
Well, yeah, we are kind of in a brain sync, aren't we? But we what I'm trying to articulate here is the whole sales supply chain, the whole thing, in 6 to 12 months will be 95% automated. Even today, now, I was looking at the Wampet numbers before I come here. And Wampet is, except for the out-of-service area queries, which it is instructed to hand off to human agents, Wampet is only handing off less than 5% of the calls to human agents at the moment. The rest is handled by AI agents as we speak. And it's going to be even lower in 12 months, guys. We are going to be talking about 0.9% or 0.8% of the whole conversation, realm, if I may.
But that's because consumers are going to compress the supply chain.
They will, and they are.
Consumers are already compressing. And what I mean by that is they many of them no longer have to go grab their computer and type with their fingers and go to a browser and click a link and click back and click another link and click back and then click through an entire website. Mm-hmm. That process will truncate into, hey, Siri, find me heating and air conditioning company that can come out and install a heat pump for me, preferably on Thursday, maybe Friday, add it to my calendar, send me a text before they're on their way. And don't let me forget to leave them a review.
It is already happening.
That's compression.
Yeah. We, for the first time in our history, we have started seeing this week Google's Ask For Me agents calling our voice AI. So AI talking to AI for the purposes of booking an appointment. It is happening, guys. I'm talking about literally right now. Like, it's not like super distant future where Jetsons are flying. It's now. And
AI to AI communications.
AI to AI communication. So it's still in English. I don't think, even though we are ready for it, I don't think Google is, supporting Gibberlink.
Not in Gibberlink yet.
No, they're not there yet. But you have to be responsive, and here's where it penalizes you, and that's important for contractors. In their documentation, it strictly says this: you cannot have any music, IVR. Please hold while our agents are busy attending to our other customers. You cannot keep it waiting. So you have to be instantly available for Google Ask For Me calls if you want those leads. If you are not, it will go to the next one.
Delete all the recordings.
Yeah.
So then do you just train the bots to say the things that are supposed to happen on the recording?
No recording.
Well, it is already so, but there is no recording. So basically, when it opens the call, I wish I had the recording for you. When it opens the call, it basically says this: hi, this is a Google AI agent calling on behalf of a consumer, and so on. So it is very explicit on the intent and what it is and what it does. And then our agent replies, "Oh, hi, this is also an AI agent responding on behalf of ABC Plumbing." And so what I'm trying. Yes, they transact, and the transactions should start immediately. If you keep it waiting, it won't wait. It will go to the next contractor. It explicitly says that in the documentation.
This is a big deal, though, because so many of us have been trained to have an IVR tree to reduce spam. And so now what you're saying is remove that, allow the spam to come in because AI can deal with spam. Who cares? Is that correct?
I know. Yes, exactly.
And then for us, particularly because we're a two-party consent state in California, right? Mm-hmm. We have to say all interactions will be recorded. So do we train our bot to just say that from the get-go?
Oh no, it doesn't mean like recording. So here's the thing: what I mean by recording is what is different than what you mean. You can record the entire call, VR2. What I mean is you cannot have a predefined, sustained. Oh, by the way, here's your, there's an announcement in the beginning of the call. So the conversation should be naturally flowing. That's what I'm trying to.
What I'm saying is, I generally give that disclaimer in the pre-recording. Thank you for calling Airwork Solutions. All interactions may be recorded. We'll be transferring you to one of our superstar agents now, or something like that, right? And then it transfers. That doesn't work anymore. What you're saying, we actually need to have. Thank you for calling.
AI can do that. I'm recording the call.
Right. So now we need to train the bot. We need to train the bot to say who they are, and then it's going to be recorded and then naturally flow into.
Yeah. So what's happening is your calls need to be AI first right now. Like your answering paradigm, shall I say, need to be AI first. Sorry, Jen, please go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you're going to hear this consistently. What was the intent? Deliver on intent. What was the intent? Deliver on intent immediately. So let's back this up. Let's start at the beginning of the supply chain. And we appreciate everybody. We get excited when we get on here, so we bounce all over like squirrels. Okay, so let's start at the beginning of the supply chain. Truncate process. So let's give them the golden egg. Stephanie's business, the first portion of her business that she compressed was digital marketing. And she compressed that by installing CI web groups, agentic networks to deliver the content that the consumer was requesting, the original intent. So she took what used to be a whole bunch of manual people doing SEO and writing blogs and doing research and looking for keywords, and immediately with one decision said, I'm going to take my digital marketing efforts and I'm going to compress that into a series of about 1,000 AI agents that are going to deliver all of my marketing services for me. That's compression, right? So now she has agentic networks that are monitoring search intent, monitoring prompts and queries on AI search, monitoring Google search terms, monitoring Google's algorithm update. I'll give you one example on this. December 9th, Google rolled out an algorithm update. Big one. Big core update. Okay. In our old world, if I was to map out our supply chain, someone on our team would have been reading search engine land, hopefully, or I would have found it first and I would have been pissed at my team. That's what would have happened. And then I would have asked them to go sit down and chit-chatty about it, and they would have debated. And then I would have asked them 2 weeks later, what are we doing about it? What did you guys execute? Have you made any changes? What's going to alter in our strategy? Did you write an SOP? Did you go train Bob and Mary and Joe and all the people who execute everything else? And I would have been pissed. And by the time they got it all done, another algorithm update would have happened. That would have been my supply chain uncompressed with humans beginning to end. Okay. On December 9th, our AI notified us that it had been planning for it. It had already researched all of the data. It had already interpreted all of the data, and it already came back and made the recommendations for all of our AI agents and the modifications they should make at every step of the process. All we had to do was click approve. And then it monitored each one of those and came back every day for the next 7 days. And each day it came back and said, we make recommendations for these adjustments. So the technology, when you compress and you're using AI, the technology makes the recommendations to the human oversight, just yes or no. And within 14 days, it says we've perfected the process. We're now operating based on Google's new requirements. Now, my next step in my business is I need our AI. What will happen next is our sales process has to change as rapidly, because how we sell our services has to modify, because our humans who sell those services are still operating on an old SOP, but the agents are delivering a new SOP. So I've got to get our sales team out of the way. I got to remove them from the process, which is why I haven't slept in 4 days. And I have to build an agentic online experience, i.e. Seth, ordering process where our customers that are coming in I don't have to worry, did Mike and Clay get trained? The AI that goes through the sales process and contains all of our products and services automatically makes the adjustment so that it matches the strategy we deliver. That's why I haven't slept.
The three of you are my supply chain.
Yes. So Steph compresses that. That's one. So now leads flow in. Dave, let's talk for a minute about the second compression in Stephanie's business, OnePath.
Yeah. So once it comes in, once the lead is here, we have to make sure that we are responding to every single one of the following: web forms, chats, texts, voice, Yelp leads, you name it, NG, Thumbtack, anything that comes in any shape or form as a lead to the contractor business, they should get a response in the next 30 seconds, period. Across the board. We can't miss anything. And that's exactly what's happening, by the way, with OnePath at the moment. Like the average response time is like 18 seconds, as I say repeatedly. And the maximum response time is 34 seconds, max. Okay. So this is unheard of. I mean, we are literally talking about an industry that is literally calling people back next morning. Okay. So instead of that, 2 a.m. in the morning, if I want to schedule an appointment with Stephanie's company, I have a response. I text back and forth. I book my appointment. I'm done. I call, the same thing happens. I fill a form, the same thing happens. And all of that stuff.
If 50 people call, if you have 50 people at the exact same moment that send an email, send a text message, send a DM on Facebook, send a web form, email, book online, all transactions are compressed into, everything happens instantaneously.
Yeah. And just for the record, we are making load tests, as everybody does, to our systems, like how many concurrent calls can the system handle. So far, we have gone up to 900 concurrent conversations, and it didn't break down. And what I'm trying to articulate here is, and by the way, it is also capable of answering questions that are out of context. One of our clients get an inquiry about what happened to sustainable energy credits in Colorado. It went out, find out the most up-to-date information, and then provided the accurate answer to the customer, who ended up booking an appointment. Okay, and so we are literally talking about something that is capable of searching the web and understanding the context and understanding the customer, and then answering concurrently. This brings us to the second step of the lead management, the transparent, or as transparent as it can be, type of pricing. Here is something that I should tell you guys about Google AI calls that we have started receiving this week. They want price ranges. AI agent is asking on the phone, what is the typical price range for an HVAC repair at your company? And you should be able to respond to that. Now, less than 1% of the companies that I know in our industry is structured to respond to that question with AI so far.
I think that a major problem is that contractors want to give a real number, and they're hesitant to give a real number. Whereas I'm seeing like lead funnels popping up all over social that are quoting somewhere between $3,000 to $20,000 for your next install.
That's satisfying,
right? And so,
I think
I'm filling those out. I'm filling those out regularly just to find out what it is, and I'm like, how is this company doing this? How, this AI produced video is creating interest, and then you get quote now, and you put information in. It doesn't tell you jack until at the end it says somebody will call you back eventually with some more information.
Well, that's a bait and switch.
That's a bait. Yeah.
That's how
consumers will know that.
That's how you lose a homeowner's confidence immediately. If I go through that process, and actually, Jen, I remember you and I having a conversation about this like 8 or 9 years ago, where you said the amount of information that a homeowner will actually fill out in like a survey style lead gen, something like that, is exponentially higher if they believe that they're going to get a price at the end of this thing.
Yes.
But that's what they really want. They want that price, And I mean, that's what we're working on doing, obviously, is creating that.
Well, let's move to that piece of it. We've got a lead. Dave, it's on the books. What's up, Seth? What's next? Compress it.
So, and this is, I don't want to overstate this because part of this is something we're building right now, but there's a few key challenges.
This is the boardroom is the room to discuss what we're building to solve for problems we know are here. Dave and I have disclosed on many occasions that we don't have a solution for that right now. Sometimes on this meeting, we're discussing that we don't even know what the solution is yet. And that's the debate we have on here. So you're in a safe space for that conversation.
All right. So without sounding like I'm overstating something. So we are about to launch a remote load calc tool that's built directly into our system. And so if you put in the address and your square footage, with about 90 to 95% accuracy, we're going to get the load calc correct. And so that, in my experience, has been one of the major blockers to giving somebody an actual number, to your point, Stephanie, because nobody wants to see it's between $5,000 and $50,000. Who cares? I want you to tell me which system you would recommend. I want you to tell me what my system is in my home, what the actual cost is. And then I actually want that experience that I have on your website, where you're quoting me an actual system, an actual cost, actual financing plans, actual monthly payment, all of that. If you do send somebody out to my house, which you probably will, when I have an experience with them, I want it to be the exact same experience. Visually, the numbers, the pricing, the financing. I want the experience that I have on the front end when I'm interacting with your website to be the exact same as the experience I have when somebody comes out to my home. Because again, I don't want to create a bait and switch feeling. I want to build that credibility and trust and value. So I go to your website, I enter this information. I'm having this agentic AI experience where it's responsive to me. People, the buying experience, the thing that makes it a buying experience and a selling experience is the absence of pressure, like customizability, my ability to choose for myself what I want, as opposed to a person sitting here telling me, you really should buy this thing. In fact, this thing is the best. In fact, it's the most expensive thing, but you really got to get this thing. And that just kills you're like, get away from me. Okay. I don't want to buy whatever the thing is you want me to buy. I want to buy something different. Let me figure it out.
I'm talking your wares and tears.
Yes. And so people wonder, like you said earlier, we're seeing open tickets. We see a diminishing close rate. Why are we seeing that? Because people are now experiencing informational transparency. I can get a lot more information a lot faster about something in an industry where we used to have a lot of knowledge asymmetry. It used to be you show up to the house and you say, how much do you know about your HVAC system? And they're like, absolutely nothing. And I have zero resources to actually learn anything. So whatever you tell me, that's just what it is. Oh, you tell me this is your dentist. Yeah. But that knowledge asymmetry is disappearing. And so homeowners, it's really easy to educate yourself on things now. And so
they have a comfort advisor in their pocket.
Yeah. The reason why we see a diminished close rate and open tickets and multi-call closes becoming the norm is because you're not giving them a satisfying experience in the information before you ever get there, ideally, right? In our compressed, optimal environment. They've gone through this experience where they're having a buying experience before you go in and give them a selling experience. So they already know when you get there, roughly, they kind of know what they want because you have given them the tools to educate themselves on your terms, right? You're creating this experience for them. Because guess what? If they go to ChatGPT, which a lot of them are going to do, just what am I supposed to do here, right? They're going to ask the dumbest questions. Which brand is the best brand to buy? Then you show up and they're like, I really want this brand. And you're like, why? That seems random. Well, because I saw this thing and it said I should get that brand. Okay. Now I got to fight through that fake objection that's real in your mind, but is actually a stupid objection. You know what I'm saying? So creating a consistent experience, which is AI-led, customer-led, customizable. They can ask questions. They can get answers. And then having that sort of seamlessly interface with the human experience that the homeowner is going to have when you actually show up to the house. That is the key to building credibility and making this a single call close.
Let me throw this out there. This has been done in industry after industry. Look at Tesla. Tesla removed the salesperson from the equation. What happened? The consumer ordered more. They bought more. They added more bells and whistles. Yes. They spent more. When they removed it, this is what we're doing internally. I'm going to remove our salespeople from the equation, not because I'm going to let go of my husband. For all the people that think I'm
I hope he's listening.
He can serve you better in other ways.
Right. I'm going to reallocate him to business development.
That's what you're going to
bring more people into the funnel. So Good job. We saved this.
Well,
you're not going to get off that easy, Jen. You know,
it was smooth. It was smooth, shall I say? But completely, the whole thing here is removing friction from the equation. Where do you have waste? Where do you have friction? Where do you have overstock and all that stuff?
Inefficiencies.
Yeah. So you have to remove efficiencies, and so basically you have to be available anytime, anywhere, without any friction for any customer question that can come your way. Otherwise, they will go to the next one, or the next one, or the next one after that. So that also entails like having kind of the price transparency. And I completely concur with the fact that people are literally throwing out their $3,000 to $20,000 ranges right now on Facebook or on other platforms, in which sets tool and data, historical data, becomes way more important for predicting or pinpointing what would be the potential price of any service out there, right?
So
otherwise, it's just a mess.
We need to tighten that up a little bit. So, Seth, okay, so the LLM training data that is available to a consumer for pricing for HVAC equipment came from Amazon.
I would say it's garbage. Yeah.
Came from Home Depot. It's Goodman equipment that has pricing and they sell it online. That, because this industry has not publicly put pricing available for a fully installed system and those ranges, we've left this entire industry to Goodman equipment sold on X, Y, and Z, or Home Depot heat pumps, or whatever. That's what's available to the consumer because LLMs only have access to the retail pricing information of the product only. And there's only a couple lines that are selling equipment retail.
Not
And
customers getting when they get the quote and they go to ChatGPT and they load a screenshot of it in there and ask, is this a good price? Mm-hmm. The debate is happening with AI that came from the product that was sitting on the internet to purchase.
Well, I'm seeing this happen in a lot of social mom groups and things too, where they'll say, but you can get that product for $900. So you shouldn't pay more than $1,500 for a new furnace.
That's exactly right. I saw this list that was really interesting. I should find it, but it said somebody did a search of something like, HVAC replacement or some variation of that, right? And then it documented the percentage of attribution of where the information was coming from that ChatGPT was searching. And it was like, Angie's List and Home Advisor and all of these. Yelp was like number 3. And you look at the sources of data and you think that answer is going to be pure garbage because
I'm going to lose the deal. I'm going to lose the bid.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to come back and say, you should pay $3,500 for a brand new 3-ton heat pump. It's like, good luck with that.
And standard of living is going down and we're paying people less and all that, which is BS. Like everybody wants to be paid more. The price of install cannot go down, even though we're making things more efficient.
We understand all of this, but this conversation is important. This graph is this chart is being thrown around all over the internet about private equity, right? Have you guys seen this article with all the private equity groups? It's less than 0.5%. Like, get over it. Stop. That's less than 0.5%. You know what is millions and millions, hundreds of million times more available to the LLMs than that group of private equity groups?
Chuck in the truck.
Mm-hmm. And e-commerce. That's the data that's online. Well,
not only is it the data that's online, it's the data that's not complicated because they have really basic websites. And so LLMs like that basic website. And so they're actually pulling information from these crappy little websites because not enough of us have gone to Webflow.
Because there's nothing on there. Because it's
an
efficient little website with just a couple pages.
So even in this conversation, I feel like what we're doing right now is we are solving the current issues, right? We're like, where are we going next? And we're not even questioning the fact that the whole freaking process is going to change. Yeah. And that's where my happy home's coming in. Like nobody's going to be doing this in the future. It's going to end up being protection plans, etc. But I think that there's a messy middle gap in between.
We could have had Darren join this call and that would have been the next piece of the supply chain. We're going to have to do this again. Seth, I see you.
I have a thought about where, to your point, Stephan, about where does this go? It makes me think about 10 or 20 years ago. Remember Second Life, when Second Life came on board? And it was this like phenomenon. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
I do.
Oh my gosh.
I do.
What is it?
So
I'm the biggest nerd in the room.
Imaginable, right? So it was like right when the internet was starting to get really big, and somebody invented this thing called Second Life, and it was a website where you go create your own avatar, and it was the equivalent of like adult MMORPG, like a multiplayer game, right?
Yeah.
They'd go in there and they could be whoever they wanted. They could put a guitar on their back, and they could ride a motorcycle around this fictional like Sim City, and all the other people you see are actual people. You can drive up.
Oh, it's like the metaverse today.
It's the metaverse, like back in the digital world, right? And so, like, it's interesting because all of these people are really a real life, but the thing they really want to do is escape into this digital world. And, you know, social media and all these other things have really like crowded into that space. You don't hear about Second Life today, but you can see people have like dived headfirst into the digital world. And one of the things that I think to keep in mind is that we're going to see this like times 100, right? Like everything is going to be so digital that the human connection is going to start to become much more valuable. And so one thing I think just to keep in mind as we're talking about all the advancements in AI and all those things is to think, how do I, to your point, Dave, when an AI agent calls my office, how do I give it exactly what I want? But if a 75-year-old grandmother calls my office, I really want to redirect that to a person, okay? Because they just don't want, now I know it's getting better. The agents are getting much better, but the point is like people want human connection. People are socially cooperative people. They want to talk to a person. And there are times when they really don't want to talk to a person. Just give me the information, make it really, really fast. And then there are times when they really want to feel a human connection. And I think the key to success is going to be recognizing what are the ways in which people value the human connection and what are the ways that they just want the informational piece, because that can all be completely automated. And so for all the people who like listen to this and it's like, oh my gosh, we're all going to be out of jobs. AI is going to do everything. It's like, I really don't think so, because I think that people value human connection, and that's going to become much, much more important in some ways. And 10 years from now, like here's a prediction, there's going to be the weirdest, dumbest business you've ever seen in your life. And it'll be like overnight worth like $10 billion.
I'll just come sit in your living room and kumbaya with you.
Yeah, it'll be some weird crap. You're like, what? How is that a business?
Companionship.
Yes, and then it'll all seem like
for an add-on, I'll bring a cat.
Touch my shoulder.
For enough money, I will do that. I'll start this business right now. We'll go pet people's shoulders.
That business has been alive since medieval times. Prostitution.
Yes.
Yes.
What if
you're on the mood today? Ain't you?
That has been a thing. Selling human connection has been a thing since the beginning of time.
Yeah, that is true.
They also have the highest domain authority.
That's quite an articulation. That's quite an articulation, though.
My wife is a therapist, right? And she does couples counseling and individual counseling and stuff like that. And I'm sure many people listening to this will know this, but if you go to find a therapist, it is extremely difficult. You'll probably be on a 3 to 6 month wait list, and you might wind up with a really crappy therapist. There are therapy offices just exploding everywhere. And within a month of opening, they've got a wait list that's 6 months long. And so like, this is the front end of what we're seeing of people wanting the human connection. And that's the avenue that's open, like readily available and trusted right now. But other avenues will open up as we, start moving forward. So I guess just keeping in mind the human connection, and I guess assuaging the fears of any contractors listening to this that just think it's all going to garbage. It's like, it's not. People are people.
No, it's reallocation of resources, right? Exactly. When you compress the inefficiencies, you free up space for people to be people. And then you can do things wildly out of the box that you didn't have time to pay attention to when you were inefficient.
And I think it's really important for us visionary founders to realize we have to keep our foot in both worlds. We have
I almost think you have to apply more pressure in both worlds. Like right now, we're just all busy being busy, rocking chair syndrome. Like activity doesn't mean anything if you're rocking but not going anywhere. I think that you need an extreme amount of pressure applied at what are the operational inefficiencies I have in my business? I'm going to put my nose down. I'm going to map it out and I'm going to implement sequentially. And here's the thing, like this isn't actually complicated. Sitting on this call, right now. You could make a decision today and you could say, I'm going to compress my digital marketing. That piece is done. I'm going to compress everything that has to do with converting a customer, regardless of entry point. That is done. Seth has a solution to be able to compress. And this is the quoting and the sales process. But here's a kicker, Seth, which I love, is when these connections, when vendors start working together and think about the supply chain from beginning to end, if you guys didn't hear it, what Seth said is that his system, that is your proposal system that's helping you close the deal, needs to exist at the front of the supply chain. We need to have it on the front of the website. That Dave and our company and the way we're working together is integrating those systems because we need this to be seamless from beginning to end. Unfortunately, there's no single solution for everything. I know Dave's on the mission to build it, but it doesn't require 30 different tech stacks and 15 different people to do this, right? We just solved a good 30%. So if you could solve those things today, now you have a remapping of your supply chain and you get to start at what happens after I drop off the quote. So now we can go back to how do you compress follow up on open proposals, right? And you start working through now what happens when we're in the home and you start working on the people skills and you start working on how do you really deliver a completely unique experience once you get to the home, something wildly different than everyone is doing. I don't care if you freaking restock the toilet paper on their toilet paper rolls or test the alarm buttons in their house to make sure that they don't need batteries or check that they have a fire extinguisher. I don't know what those things are, but I know as a consumer, yes, I would, those are the things that would make me talk about a company. It would be when you do something that's above and beyond what I paid you to do. That's what creates stories. You don't get consumers to remember you and talk to you because you delivered what they bought. None of us do. I mean, in our world, this is my coaching with my own team is you don't deliver on what they bought. I don't care if we don't sell YouTube marketing. You're going to help them figure out how to do YouTube marketing. I don't care if we don't sell whatever services. I don't care if it's in our service wheel. I don't deliver quoting systems and I don't have a automated CSR. But I'm going to make sure that we sit down with them and we bring them over to One Path and we sit down and have this conversation, that we sit down with Seth and we have this conversation. We have to provide all those tools. That makes you indispensable. So applying the same logic, what else can you do in the home that wasn't what they bought? Didn't have anything to do with that purchase. Create that unique experience. Map that supply chain. Roadmap that.
Yeah. Hire banjo players that can sing songs. When they get in there, they can do a little dance and entertainment, and then you install the system.
It's amazing dance. They gotta do a TikTok something while they're in their TikTok challenge. I mean, start getting really, really creative. This isn't actually really hard problems to solve. I think there's good people and really, really freaking smart people in this industry. We've got a lot of them on the call that are sitting over here trying to figure these things out, like trying to build them the solution. I know Dave's building Gibberlink and Seth's building load calculations so you can give online quoting right up front. You can create a Tesla-like experience for a consumer. We'll integrate that directly into a website. We'll integrate that into our LLM.txt file. Like we're all building these things.
I don't think consumer adoption is the problem. I think it's contractor adoption.
It always has been.
Yeah.
I mean,
consumers will adopt the new way, but I have people on my team who keep fighting me tooth and nail to that. That's not how it was done 3 years ago.
This requires a light bulb moment. Every single time I go to a speaking event, I ask everyone in the room, and I have for the last 20 years, what do you do when you need something? For 18 years of my speaking events, they said, Google it. You know what they say now? It's ChatGPT it.
Yeah.
So I go, great. How many of you have modified your marketing strategy to get in front of yourself? And they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? But no, you're saying you don't go to Google anymore. You guys, this audience is saying, how many of you don't go to Google anymore? I'm getting 80 to 90% of the room. Contractors as a consumer are not behind. They're on schedule. But as a business owner, we're not catching up to us as a consumer.
It's heavy.
one response there, because I know that, and I agree with you, Stephanie, about the reason we don't have adoption is because contractors don't want to adopt. And in defense of contractors, I'm not defending you here. You kind of criticize yourself, but in defense of contractors, the technology in this industry for about the last 20 years has been absolutely abominable, right?
Oh.
There have been so many it's like, why even have a system? Like, you basically have an Excel spreadsheet that you put a shiny interface on, and you still have to manually enter every single thing. Like, there's just been some really, really rough,
bad,
systems. And so you blame a contractor for not implementing things, but a contractor goes to a training, they get all this training, they want to do it, they're like motivated, they're ready to go, and they go back to their business and they look at their systems, and every system they have is insufficiently flexible to actually do all the things they want them to do. And so my choices are, I can adopt all of these outside of my actual system workflows to try and work around all this stuff, or I can just go back to the way that I was doing it because it's way simpler. So I think contractors, like the rest of us, they're going to do the thing that is like the most efficient thing to do, which is intelligent laziness. Efficiency is intelligent laziness. Like, I'm going to do the thing where I have to do the least amount of it to get the thing that I want to get done. And sometimes, you do things in stupid ways, but it's not actually stupid when you take a closer look at it. So I think that's what's interesting and exciting, is that that's changing. Like, we're giving contractors the tools to do the thing they've always wanted to do. They just lack the ability because they lack the system. Like, the system is the solution to that.
That starts off with the technology companies, the marketing companies. If the marketing companies and the technology companies are way behind, you guys are stuck with the shit end of the stick, for lack of a better term. You are. And that's why you have a tech stack with 15 different pieces of technology trying to do better. That doesn't work on your cogs.
Yeah. And that actually brings us to something that I'd like to, underline at the end of the at the end of the call, at the end of the meeting. I would highly recommend that everybody take a look at this particular article here that is by the Box CEO, Aaron Levy, who highlights the Gibbons paradox. Now, for the context of this, Gibbons paradox is a term coined by a British economist in the 19th century.
Oh, Command plus, because I'm old. Hang on. And I don't know
okay.
my glasses are.
Is it okay?
Yeah, no, keep going. Oh, there we go. Yeah, now we're for 50 and up.
Okay. So here's the kicker. This British economist in 19th century found that tech-driven efficiency improvements in coal use led to the increased demand for coal across a range of industries, although the exact opposite was expected. Okay, and this is called the Gibbons paradox for a number of years or decades or centuries and whatnot. But here's the thing: will the technology-led efficiency improvements for contractors lead to increased demand or decreased demand for the home service work? The science says it will yield to the increased demand. Basically, the more efficient the contractors are, the higher the demand will come into their way. And obviously, the early adopters in terms of the efficiency will be getting the more and more portions of that elevated demand for their businesses, if I'm making sense.
100%.
Okay, right? So the
Simple Minds, that's called "If You Build It, They Will Come." Wasn't that a baseball movie?
Yeah.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, Field of Dreams. I love that movie. And so,
that's what I've been operating under, Jen.
Yeah.
Field of Dreams.
That whole if you build it, they will come.
If you build it, they will come.
I don't have the data for everything that we're doing. We just have belief.
Yeah.
And that's what early adopter. That's this, right? We're in the same bucket. Shit, I'm launching things, and I feel like I'm going like this.
But you know what else this changes, and this is something we can talk about in another time. But as we're recruiting humans, it changes comp plans. Like, there's so many ripple effects into the operations that cause, right?
In all four of our world, that is not unique to contractors. No. Every piece of technology we implement in our business has a ripple effect. whether it's someone leaving me a crap review on freaking Glassdoor because I've made these decisions and they don't believe in them, or it's, oh shoot, I didn't realize that my sales force can't keep up with my agents, and that wasn't on my radar. I thought the sales team was going to be part of the gushy mushy, and they were going to be right. Like that was no. And I'm like, okay, well, what do I do with them? Well, go do biz dev, shake hands and kiss babies. That's happening to every single one of us. Dave and I, when we sit down and I'm like, okay, we figured out how to get a website to show on a prod file in straight text with no code and no images. And I was like, the text is showing up. Our clients are on AI search. We're tracking that now. I didn't think we'd be able to track that, but I'm like, they can't convert on an AI search. And then I'm like, fix that. How do you fix that one? Then we get to Seth and I'm like, Seth, I need the data you're giving to them and the quote. I need it back. I need that on the front end. And he's okay. I'll give you that. We'll build it and we'll integrate it on the front end. We'll give it to you on your website. I mean, that's what this is. Multi-vendor, customer vendor, you and I, and you and your customers, and you and your team. This is the discussion we're all having, because I know the ripple effect internally is not easy, and it doesn't mean everyone on the team. That, as far as I'm concerned, I'm sorry, but I have a short fuse for that. That's you either blank or get off the pot. One of the two. We're headed as a leader. This is the direction we're headed. I know I'm going to create a lot of enemies for going this direction, but I'm leaning this way come hell or high water. You have an opportunity to come with me. It's going to require you to level up, change your skills. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to evolve, or you're not going to have a place. That is what it is.
I'm into that.
I'm just.
Oh, hey.
I'm going to get another
fella in the background.
Review.
Well, I think that I think it was the CEO of Netflix who I think about a year ago said, we're not a family, we're a winning team. And if you're not contributing to making the team win, then you're in the wrong place, right? And I mean, as technology improves, I think it's more and more important that the people on the team are all either hired as A players or trained into A players, because it's, I mean, all of the things that C players did and B minus players did, they're being automated. So people are going to have to level up, and that includes from the top down. Every single person in the business is going to have to level up, reimagine the way their business works, and then just have the courage to walk out and do the thing. Like you got to walk by faith, right? If you build it, they will come. You just have to go do the thing you believe is going to happen, and have the courage to stand behind your convictions. And it's tough, but let's do it.
But let me conclude with saying this: in 3 to 4 years, the org chart of any home services company in the United States will be much, much more horizontal than it is today. Just so you know.
Yeah.
It's going to be much less layers, many more AI agents in between, operating and automating stuff, and with human oversight. There still will be humans, but there will be much less overhead in terms of handling the mundane work in that sense. And that, again,
it'll look more like Japan.
Yeah, and to second gen, it's not particular to home services. I mean, in Silicon Valley right now, it is being the current discussion is you can entirely have a decacorn, which is $10 billion valuation company with 50 employees. It's not a surprise. It's coming. So, anyways.
There's not a moment. I just thought right before I walked in here, we had 2 distributors call back to back, and both distributors were like, we want to work with you guys. We need a more formal relationship. And I caught myself going back to, all right, well, I'm going to work on getting all this done. Clay was like, all right, I'm going to set time with you, and we need to get prepped for this. And I had to catch myself and go, I'm not doing that anymore. So the next meeting, what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to do it with AI. You're going to deliver everything. And then you're going to go sit down with our AI engineers and you're going to tell them that you and I are no longer going to do this anymore. And you're going to have them build this so that they can CFB this together. Click the freaking button. Like I'm having to the nth degree every day go, wait, why am I still doing it this way? Even myself who lives in this space, it happens all the time. It's not easy, but you have to be consciously aware of every action you have and just pause for a moment and say, is there a better way? And then make time to identify, has someone else already solved that problem? Because you surely don't want to sit there and try and create AI agents. That's not ideal. So you want to find a company like one of these that's on here and go, what have you solved? Have you already put in however many millions of dollars of investment it takes to build that? Get those ones in the hopper quickly. And then you're left with what has not been solved by a tech company. Those are the things you bring to us, bring to the ones that already have AI engineers and go, okay, can you guys build this? I need it to do this because we don't understand your business to the nth degree. We would if the three of us sat or the four of us do, we would be good.
The reason you can do this is because you've done the homework. You've process mapped. You understand all the little pieces, or a lot of them.
We do with you.
No, but for you, for yourself, for your own business, right? And now you're like, I don't have to be in those calls. And here's how I can change that, how I can compress this process, right? So step one, because if you listen to this call, you're going to be all over the freaking place, right? But
I kind of feel bad for that.
Go back to the beginning of what we talked about, get Claude in your pocket and figure out what this friction looks like, what your process map is, right? And then you have to figure out as a leader, what areas are you going to attack?
We just launched on Just Start AI. If you go to the new website, we just launched it yesterday and we launched it. So I don't have to have so many one-on-one calls, by the way. But inside of there is, and Seth, we need to get you in there. Inside of there is a marketplace that has some recommended technology tools that have already built some of the solutions to be able to compress time. Also inside of there is an AIQ assessment, which will allow you to take an assessment to determine what your AI enablement score is today. Go take it because it's going to save it and it's going to send it to you. Get a baseline. You can't go somewhere if you don't know where you are, right? So go on Just Start AI, take that AI assessment. What did you?
And when you're going through the assessment, if you don't understand the question or the answers, probably select the one at the top, like the easier one, okay? Because I went through it and I'm like, man, we got to have some definitions here. And I understand a lot
with that. Yeah. I thought that was, I prompted a lot of that and I would ask for the simplest version, which now that is a bigger problem. Okay, let's work on that.
Yeah. So if you don't understand the question, pick the top one.
Yes. There is a ROI calculator. There's an efficiency calculator. So we're working with contractor in charge, Lynn's team, who they do all of the books for the trades. So that's a missing piece that's not on this call, which we have a really, really tight relationship with Lynn and her team. That's the financial data feed that we need back to be able to calculate that when you compress each area of the supply chain, the impact on your business is X. And we're getting to the point where we've got probably a good 6 months of data. That means we have the early adopters that joined us all early on in that 6-month time frame where we've got enough data, we can start to see the impacts on the top line and the bottom line and the efficiency. And that calculator, we will keep updating it and reformatting it so that it's producing legit data based on everything we're tracking. I mean, Dave has so much predictive data. He's now got the ability to see that these marketing efforts produce these type of customers. And if we route it to the right technician with these kind of skills, we have a higher probability of closing. I mean, we're getting to the point where capacity planning, dynamic routing, the proposals, connecting it to the front end, all these things are going to continue to increase the difference between that top line and bottom line, which is cool.
That's where it gets really exciting. We're still so early that it's difficult for us to like give data without just making it up. You can cherry pick statistics to make them say whatever you want, right? Until you get a critical mass of data. But, we're seeing contractors with close rates of north of 80% using set sail. And, that's a nice anecdotal like pull out, but I'm waiting till we have enough data to where I can statistically say, hey, I can reliably say close rates are over this amount when you utilize this tool correctly.
There's a reason why specifically I chose you, the two of you. Wasn't because you were first to market. You like a lot of this. I wouldn't care if you had a ton of experience. What I care about is you have the right mindset, you have a blueprint, and you can see the future. And I would bet over the future and what you're going to build over a gadget somebody built first.
I appreciate
for both of you.
Appreciation is, I appreciate that thing. Thank you.
I freaking love that. This is when I text Steph in the middle of the night and go, you have to meet with them.
As the great Wayne Gretzky said, let's skate to where the puck will be, not the puck is.
Also, you guys need to start sleeping and just texting each other during the daytime. That works. You can sleep at nighttime. You don't always have to text each other in the middle of the night.
We need to compress some more so that we have more time to do that.
Here's the thing, though. The more that we compress, the more excited we'll be about all the things, and we will still
create new stuff. We create new work.
It's a loop, and that's the thing is we get excited, and then we want to promote this, and that's why we started Just Start AI, because they were so excited about what's out there and about bringing people in and learning out loud and how to communicate this information. And sometimes we forget how far we are from where we started, and so I think that I almost need like a Steph space to just talk about Chat GPT again, because there are people that haven't done it, So anyway, I love these calls. I appreciate you all so much. I think talking about these things out loud is just so critical. And listeners, if you don't have a table where you can have conversations like this, come to ours, build one, but you have to be talking like this.
Yeah, you got to get real comfortable being uncomfortable real fast. Like right now, you should be creating friction conversations. The friction is where the magic happens. Right? You got to be okay with the fact that if you're doing things that are new, if you're ahead of the game, like things going to be a little busted. I saw somebody post online. He said that he signed up with I think it was Hatch or I don't know. And he was like, well, they burned me in the onboarding process. I'm out. And I was like, you didn't even make it through onboarding? God, geez. Like,
kind of a low bar.
No, but I was like, you're going to have to I don't know if that was them or if that was you not sitting down and going through what's necessary to get it done. No clue. I have no idea. But this is I don't know. There's got to be quite a bit of mindset change that accompanies all this tech change.
If you are going to be an early adopter, you have to figure out that you're part of the process. You're helping build the right tools. And so you have to participate. You have to go back and forth. And if you aren't prepared to participate. Sorry, Jen?
You need a feedback loop, not an all caps email and an emotional freaking freak out.
Yeah, I can't say how much I appreciate you saying that, Stephanie, because we've benefited greatly from our early adopter contractors. It doesn't always work the right way or the way they want it to work. And so then you got to go in and get feedback and change things. And I would say some of the most meaningful improvements to the product that we've made has been direct feedback from contractors who are utilizing the tool saying, why doesn't it just do this? And you say, how would you use that? And then they tell you, you're like, that is a fantastic idea. I'm surprised we didn't think of it ourselves, but thank you. We will now go do that. And so, when you start working with a new AI company like Set Sail, like Dave, like all these different companies coming to the market, you just have to recognize, yes, it's going to make you 10 times more efficient. Yes, you're going to have a few minor frustrations along the way. That's part of the path, and that's okay, right? Like they're running a business the same way you are. You have glitches with homeowners all the time, right?
Yeah.
So
that goes to any relationship. Like you're training employees, now you're training bots. Now you're helping to orchestrate the product line. Like you're still involved in training and feedback.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So
I would agree. All right, final thoughts. Seth, I'll start with you.
I guess my final thought is I think we're also fortunate to be in this industry. I don't think we realize how fortunate we are. Like not every, but the vast majority of contractors that I meet and even distributor partners and stuff are just genuinely good people trying their best to put food on the table, take care of their family, advance their future. And they're willing to get up early and work hard and take no shortcuts and just do the right things. And so I always feel so grateful that I work with home improvement contractors because as a general rule, they're just fundamentally decent people who are just trying to do the right thing. And we've experienced the benefits of that over and over again with such great partners. And so we're in a great industry, and AI is not going to change that. It's just going to make it better.
Agreed. I love
Agreed.
that. Dave?
I just second said, and I'd like to say that we are now meeting at a very interesting inflection point of the history where things are converging to yield a bigger outcome than the ingredients. Literally, the very definition of the synergy here, the synergy of technology, expertise, and good contractors, like Seth has just pointed out, will yielding a high demand, highly functioning industry and contractor companies who are going to people's homes and fixing things for years and years to come. So I'm feeling very lucky.
I love that. Miss Steph?
Well, I've always been a big believer of aggregate success and being better together. And so I love that we're all coming together. It's not about competition, it's about collaboration. And I think we're going to have to see that at the trade level also. We're going to have companies that need to roll up or merge together because they can't do all of the things anymore and take the ego out of it. And so I think that there's going to be a lot of really interesting moves in the next couple of years for contractors to be able to see their legacy continue, and it might look different because we've all realized that the traditional PE sale doesn't work for everybody, right? And so what does that look like now? How are we coming together? How are we winning together? How are we using some centralized services to provide excellent service to our homeowners and win? How do we all win?
I love that. I love that. You guys, this is the stories that I'm hearing from contractors that have been a part of Just Start AI for the last 6 months. I've had like 6 of them in the last 2 days, are wild. What I would encourage is if you are addicted to this, because that's the word I've been hearing. The guy that I got off the phone with, this guy with Jalen, I told him I was going to talk about him. He said he's on Just Start AI. We're the ones preventing him from sleeping. He can't stop thinking. And he's with a big distributor out of California. Crazy big distributor. But they now have their entire sales organization inside Just Start AI. He has contractors. West Coast is one of them who attends Just Start AI. Top tier something plumbing. Yes. So anyway, he was telling me stories about them. Jalen, who's the sales guy at the distributor, sitting in West Coast office, and that they were sitting there working on building this automation tool, this AI agent from the classes that he's taken at Just Start, and that just freaking warms my heart. And he was talking about how his business has changed so drastically. He's also working with OnePath and so forth. So like those stories as a contractor, as you figure things out, raise your hand to Steph and I. We'd love to bring you in on a boardroom conversation. We'd love to bring you in on Just Start live stream. Share those wins online. In fact, on Just Start AI on the new site, there is a share your success story there. Like click the freaking button, put it in there, and let us showcase that. That will tell us that you're a target and somebody we want to bring on here with us. Because the more that we have these conversations, the better all of us can do. All of us. We're all trying to win together. So thank you guys so much for joining today. I love these conversations. This is what life is about. And thanks to everybody who joined today's call. You guys, we had a few QR codes that stepped up. Seth, I know he's going to get on the marketplace today because after
I'm about to get on it right after this call.
Good job. Good job. You can do it right online now, which is cool. But you guys, thank you so much. Please share, like, drop us a comment. Let us know what you want to hear or what you need us to solve, and we'll bring in the right resources to get it done. With that, deuces, we out of here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.